If in 2022 Messi was Argentina's best player, who was the worst? Well, for every national team that wins the World Cup, there's always one guy who makes the coach regret calling him up. So in this video, we'll see the lowest rated player from each winning team to answer one question. Who was the worst World Cup champion? Starting with the 1994 World Cup won by Brazil. And the guy who really did not help to win that title was Miller. He was a striker who came on in the second group stage match against Cameroon, but he completely blew it. He came on in the 81st minute, but managed just 6 touches on the ball, had 0 shots, committed 1 foul, and was even caught offside. After that performance, the coach didn't dare to put him on the pitch again. So Miller finished as the worst rated player in that entire Brazilian squad, 6.4. You could say that Miller didn't get enough opportunities, but the next players had far more chances and still ended up playing very bad. We're also gonna rank them to see who truly was the worst player to lift the World Cup trophy. Now, 4 years later came the 1998 edition, won by France. And among legends like Zidane and Henry, there was a midfielder named Christian Carambeau, who started the first 2 matches on the bench, until the 3rd match when the coach decided to give him a chance. But he was played out of position as a full back, so everything went wrong. He missed every single cross, didn't take a single shot on target, and lost possession 21 times, finishing as France's lowest rated player there. So what happened next? In the round of 16, he went back to the bench. Then in the quarterfinal against Italy, the coach gave him another chance, this time in the midfield. But once again, he lost possession 10 times, didn't complete a single cross, and just made 1 pass that created any real danger. So he was subbed off in the 65th minute. Look at his rating compared to others around him. And if that wasn't bad enough, in the semi-final he was forced off injured after just 30 minutes. And in the final he was subbed off early in the second half. So taking all his ratings and minutes per match, Carambeau finished as France's worst player, with an average rating of 6.8. But Carambeau actually had the best performance we'll see in this entire video. From now on, things are only gonna get worse. Now, 4 years later, Brazil won the World Cup again. But among players like Ronaldo and Rivaldo, there was a guy who showed how to not play in a World Cup. In the opening match, the coach subbed off Ronaldinho to bring on a guy called Denilson. At first, it actually looked promising. Lots of dribbles, winning ground duels for the ball, and earning a 7.5 rating. But yet, he still finished as Brazil's worst player. The coach wanted to see that again, so in the second match against China, he came on early in the second half, with 45 minutes to play. But even playing as a winger, he failed to take a single shot on target. Even worse is that he had only 1 successful dribble and lost possession 15 times. He offered absolutely nothing, finishing with a rating of 6, even worse than China's keeper who conceded 4 goals. So in the next match, the coach left him on the bench. But in the round of 16, when he came on in the 57th minute, it was his chance for redemption. But again, he failed to complete a single dribble. He touched the ball just 15 times and lost possession 5 of them, finishing with a rating of 6.1. Another wasted opportunity, so once again he was benched. Then in the semi-final, he only played for 15 minutes, creating one of the most iconic moments of the tournament, dragging the ball to the corner flag while being chased by 4 Turkish players. But not much more than that. At least he gave a shot on target, having a rating of 6.6. In the final, he came on at the last minute to make some dribbles. But when it comes to real impact, in the entire tournament he had just 1 shot on target, 0 goals, 0 assists, and an average rating of just 6.4. Let's see if the next one can be even worse than that. Now, 4 years later, we arrive at the 2006 World Cup, won by Italy. And one of the players in the squad was a right back called Massimo Odo, who only got his opportunity in the quarter-final against Ukraine. The coach brought him on the 68th minute, and it was his time to shine. But those 22 minutes were enough to make him Italy's worst player. Out of 10 passes, he missed 4. Out of 16 touches, he lost possession 6 times. No crosses, no shots on target, no passes to create danger. The only thing that he did well was recover the ball 4 times. But overall, his time on the pitch hurt more than it helped. So after that, the coach never gave him another chance, and Odo finished the tournament with a rating of 6.4, now tied with Müller and Denilson. But while Odo was never that famous, The worst player to win the next World Cup was supposed to be the star, but turned into a disaster. In 2010, Spain was full of stars, and among them was Fernando Torres. He had been the hero of Euro 2008, so expectations were sky high. But the manager already knew something wasn't right about him, so he started the first match on the bench, until the second half when he was finally brought in. But he missed every shot, lost possession 4 times, and Spain lost the match, leaving Torres with a 6.6 rating. But in the next match against Honduras, he started the game and finally played better, was more involved, hit a shot on target, and earned a 7.2 rating. It looked like he was back, so the manager Del Bosque trusted him again as the starting striker against Chile. But this time, it was a big mistake. He completed 0 dribbles, lost possession 9 times, and as a striker, failed to have a single shot on target. Just imagine. So with 30 minutes remaining, he was subbed off, finishing with an even lower rating. Still, the coach kept believing in him, so Torres was a starter in the round of 16 and in the quarterfinals. But in both matches, he ended with 0 goal contributions and was subbed off early again. So Del Bosque gave up. In the semi-final, Torres started on the bench, only played for 9 minutes, and in the final, he played only 14 minutes, again with ratings below average. As a striker, Torres only had 2 shots on target, 0 goals and 0 assists, finishing as Spain's lowest rated player, 6.5. In fact, Spain's title win had nothing to do with him. But we're still gonna see the worst player from the next 3 World Cup winning teams. Let's see if anyone can do worse than 6.4. Now, the worst player from the next World Cup had to be subbed off cause he didn't even know which match he was playing in. It was June 2014 and Germany's manager called up a player for the tournament who had barely played for the national team before, the 23-year-old Christoph Kramer. He was a Borussia Mönchengladbach player and had made his international debut just 1 month prior. But still, no one expected how badly this would end. In the first matches, he stayed on the bench, until extra time against Algeria, when the manager Love brought him in. Now Kramer had 11 minutes to prove himself. But even as a midfielder, he completed just 6 passes, lost possession twice, and failed to make a single tackle. He went completely unnoticed, finishing with a 6.6 rating. Then he stayed on the bench in the next match and also didn't play against Brazil. It looked like his last minutes were against Algeria. But then in the warm-up for the final, Khedira got injured. So with no other option, Love put Kramer in his place. But he ended up lasting just 30 minutes. As the match began, people almost forgot he was on the pitch, barely getting on the ball, making no interceptions, no dangerous passes. Until in the 16th minute of the match,
is affording him little if any space. Germany have a problem with Christoph Kramer having stayed down in the penalty area.
After this huge blow to the head, he kept playing like nothing had happened. Until just minutes later, the referee saw he wasn't okay, cause he asked the referee if that match they were playing was the final. It was clear something was very wrong. So the referee told Lam warned the manager, and in the 31st minute, completely confused about what was going on, he was escorted off the pitch. The blow to the head caused him memory loss. In the end, Germany managed to win the World Cup, but Kramer finished as the worst player in the entire squad, with an average rating of 6.6. And the craziest part? After winning the World Cup, he never won a single trophy again. The World Cup is literally the only trophy on his shelf. But if Kramer was a substitute, the worst rated winner from the next World Cup actually came from the starting lineup. On June 16, 2018, France took the pitch with a left back named Lucas Hernandez. He was just 22 years old and was only making his second start for the national team. So at first, he was decent. His first 2 matches both earned a rating of 7. But after that, everything started to fall apart. In the third group stage match against Denmark, he just managed to have 1 ball recovery, completed 0 crosses, and won only half of his ground duels. He was so invisible that he got subbed off in the 50th minute, finishing with a 6.5 rating. But in the next game against Messi's Argentina, it somehow was even worse. He took 0 shots, had just 35 actions on the ball, and lost possession 7 times. On top of that, he failed both dribbles he attempted. So even though he technically got an assist, Almost by accident to Pavard, he finished the match with a rating of just 6.3. After that, he stayed in the starting 11, but with consistently below average performances. 6.8 against Uruguay, 6.6 against Belgium, and 6.7 against Croatia in the final. As a left back, Lucas Hernandez managed to complete only 3 crosses in the entire tournament. He also lost half of his ground duels and lost possession 80 times overall. So he finished the tournament with the lowest average rating of any French player, 6.7. It already feels impossible for anyone to be worse than these 6.4 rated players. But 4 years later, Argentina somehow had someone even worse. In the third group stage match, Argentina faced Poland. Then after going 2-0 up, the manager Scaloni decided to take off Enzo Fernandez to bring on a center back named Germán Peseya. He was 31 years old and came on purely to help Argentina close the game out. But he was literally invisible. No tackles, no interceptions, just safe sideways passes. So in the next match, he stayed on the bench. And in the quarterfinal against the Netherlands, Argentina went up 2-0 again. So in the 78th minute, Scaloni brought him on to help defensively once again. But Peseya ended up doing the exact opposite. Right after he came on, the Netherlands scored. Not directly by his fault. But then, when the match was almost over, literally in the last minute, he made an absolute disaster of a mistake.
Up into the air by Paredes. Oh, that looks like a foul. That is going to be a free kick.
A reckless foul inside the box, which led directly to the Dutch equalizer. The guy who came on just to protect the lead was the very reason the match went to extra time. Scaloni already regretted the decision, and now Peseya had 30 more painful minutes on the pitch. Even as a center back, he had 0 interceptions, didn't win a single tackle, and lost every aerial duel. He was invisible, touching the ball only 30 times, most of them simple sideways passes. Still, the match remained level and Argentina won on penalties. But Peseya finished that game with a very low rating. Then in the semi-final, Scaloni didn't even dare to play him. And in the final, with 5 minutes left on the clock, he was sent on once again, but literally didn't touch the ball. So in the end, Argentina became world champions, but Peseya finished as the worst player in the entire squad, and the worst World Cup winner of the last 8 tournaments, with an average rating of 6.2. So what did you think of this video? If you enjoyed it, I think you're gonna like this one too. Thanks for watching and bye.